Welcome to the Value Builder Podcast, where we focus on real estate with a value-add mindset. Real strategies, real operators, real outcomes. Let's dive in.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, every Value Builder listeners. Today you are for a treat. Today I'm talking with Michael Bull. And if you don't know Mike, you should. He built one of the most respected commercial real estate firms in Southeast. He's been in the game for 27 years. And we're talking about 8 billion, the letter B, in transactions. Host of America Commercial Real Estate Show. And he's been in this game actually, no, he's probably for 35 years. No, just 27 years ago, he established the firm. And today we're going to be talking, first of all, I would like to know Mike. I would like to tap into that wisdom. He's been, let's call it, in probably 3 cycles, 91, 2000, 2001, 2008. And also he is in a very interesting niche in REO industry, servicing default assets. With that, Michael, can you tell us a little bit about you? Let's go back 27 years ago. What made you start Bull Realty instead of climbing someone else's ladder, institutional firms? You've created a company of advisors. So talk to me about the journey and what made you start it.
Yeah, well, thank you. Glad to be on your show here, Saul. Yeah, so I was a successful broker. I started selling apartments in college and was a full-time commission-only broker at 22 and built a big practice. I was with a small firm. My broker did something my biggest client did not like at all. So I moved to temporarily to a firm. The big firms, the national firms were all trying to recruit me. I had a really big market share in Atlanta of multifamily sale, huge market share. So, and I decided not to join those firms because there was a couple of brokers at each of those firms doing things that I didn't think were right for the client. Wasn't the way I'd want my property sold if I was the client. So I felt uncomfortable associating with those big names because of some of that going on. Obviously some great people at these firms, but also some that are just, chasing commissions and not doing things the way I think they should be done for a client. I was getting higher offers and more offers on my properties the way I was marketing them. Then so I kind of was kicking and screaming and started my own firm. That was 27 years ago, and we were local. Now we've grown to fully regional around the Southeast. We've got about 50 people, and we're based on 2 things. One is integrity. That's the big thing for us. And the second thing is to have great disposition marketing. So when we take something to the market, we design a plan that works really well, and we implement it.
Now, so disposition, I've seen a lot about your firm, about disposition strategy. It seems like it's very effective. And if you may, can you share what does make you so effective? Of course, we know about disposition strategy, like Marcus and Millichap. They have a very strong list or whatnot, but I'm pretty sure there's some small nuances that makes you a leader or, capable to sell for faster or for more money in disposition. Is there anything you can, tell us, our audience, about?
Yeah. Well, we design a marketing plan for each property specifically, depending on the asset, the size, the location, if it needs to be sold privately and direct to the buyers in the marketplace, or can it be done through database and marketing systems? So depending on the client's mission, what we recommend will go to market. Like to give you a couple examples, we have an $80 million Class A apartment complex out right now. This seller really wanted this very private to the type of buyers that they're in that price range. So it's a direct piece, direct marketing, and it's going extremely well. It's a beautiful piece of property in a growing market. And then to give you another example, we just took out a 185,000 square foot office tower in Durham, North Carolina. It had been on the market for a year and a half, 2 years with some national firms, good groups at those firms. They couldn't move it. We took it out and we've got it under contract, all cash, in 2 weeks. We also are working on a backup contract that we'll have right behind them for more money. So we got full price, all cash very quickly. What we did differently there, since this office tower is distressed, it's about 32% occupied. It didn't really hurt the asset. They haven't been trying to do leasing for years. It didn't hurt it to be publicly marketed, right? So we went out to our complete database of U.S. office buyers. And we went out in 17 different marketing systems. We went out 7 e-marketing systems. We also did direct calls and emails to all the users in the market that we thought would be substantial enough user to potentially be an investor or partner or buyer of this building. And we do all that at once. We don't trickle market. You know, one of our friends at the big shop says it was interviewed in one of Rod Santomassimo's books, his first book, by the way. And he has got great books for brokers, but the broker in there is at one of the big firms. And she admits and illustrates that they do only the email marketing to the buyers, and also put in there that she does trickle marketing. And what I mean by that is go to a small group of buyers and then maybe to a larger group. And I think that's easier for the broker, and it is easier. You should be paid less for that. But, we go to the full market day one. While people make the highest and best offers, typically when something's not been on the market a long time, you're an investor. You probably want to know when you're talking to a broker, how long has it been on the market, right?
Yeah.
So we got in a big way if we can, if it's appropriate. Like I said, some of the assets, it's not appropriate to go public, but we can go direct database. We've also had a great run selling REO office buildings for banks and other lenders around the Southeast by the way we do things, and also incorporating the users, because it's a great time for any partial users to be considering buying office buildings. So it's different for every asset, but we do it the way you'd want it done if you're the seller, if you're the client, right? So not what's easiest for us, but what's best for the client.
That totally makes sense. Yeah, it sounds almost like I call it a thunder marketing, and versus just sit and pray marketing. And exactly right. So and I can relate to that, because that's how we do with tenants sometimes. For example, when we go in and start to stabilize the property, we just go all in a smaller marketing, all kind of possible marketing, and we're just overspend compared to how much we can get. And then we call it thunder marketing for the first 6 months while we're stabilizing the property. Just like it has to be in everyone's. There is no hold back. And I agree. And definitely, I don't believe brokers do that for the most of the time. And if you have a big list, and it just only the capacity, how many emails you can send out and how many pitches you can do per day, right? So is there any way you can quantify, for example, that distress tower? Do you have an idea, roughly, let's say, how many emails or how many pitches were, besides LoopNet, CoStar, Craigslist, and all that stuff, how many of those direct messages, pings were to your list, to the office buyers? Do you have an idea roughly how many do you quantify those?
Yeah, that one went out to about 14,000 people. And it did it within a couple of days, and it had a beautiful marketing piece, beautiful landing page. We got 54 confidentiality agreements in 24 hours.
And then you set the time when you're submitting offers, or when you go out right away, do you set the date right away for offer submission?
So it depends on the asset, right? So like I mentioned, we do it specifically for each asset and seller and situation and market. And in that one, since it's distressed property, only 32% occupied, we went out considering offers as they come in, and instead of waiting for a call for offers deadline.
So you start negotiating right away as they come in, without waiting for multiple highest and best.
Yeah. Yes. Now, obviously, if we've got groups digging in that say they're going to make an offer, we may wait to accept an offer. But so we help a client, make that decision. And again, it's independent and separate for each property. And sometimes we may set a call for offers deadline after we start hitting the market and see how long people need and how many people are going to bid. But sometimes on distressed properties, land, user properties, we'll typically go ahead and consider offers as they come in. And if we're not expecting something right behind it that might be stronger, we'll move forward if it's a viable buyer that we feel there's surety of close.
Now, I'm gonna ask a sensitive question, and if you can answer, if you're in the liberty. If not, that's totally fine. So in that list, in that call to that initial marketing, do you include also the broker community, the ones that are, has high velocity of those transactions? Or do you go only to your relationship, to your database, in terms of direct buyers? Or do you also include brokers who have, let's say, certain amount of buyers and known in the industry?
So it depends. Again, it's specific to each asset. So some of it depends on the client as well. So like the Class A apartment complex I mentioned we have out, that client did not want it sent to any brokers. They just didn't trust brokers not to call or walk in
Mm-hmm.
or disrupt their management or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted it only strictly to principal. So, but I very much believe in cooperating with brokers. I think it helps our clients. It does make more work for us. There's more qualifying. There's more sometimes dealing with brokers who aren't as experienced, but we've learned how to manage that time and manage that process for our clients' benefit. So we're big believers in being cooperative with brokers.
Yeah, for sure. And what I'm taking from this and the confirmation is just it's such a magic of the curating list right now. Most of the people is I would say just put it on the LoopNet and Crexy and wait, and it's kind of almost one big marketing channel, and whoever comes in comes in. But I think we're talking 40,000 people, and 40,000 people there is no principals, there is no X amount of brokers, and X amount of this, and based on the asset, you kind of knowing who to send this property to, and it's about just having a relationship with that massive list, right? Segmenting the list properly, and it really doesn't serve to send to everyone. I can see that for sure. It's great, amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Another note I had, I really would like to ask a few questions about REO industry. Me personally, I was an REO broker back in 2009, 10, 11, when we were selling REO assets. You mentioned Atlanta. One of my clients was actually Chrisley Asset Management, and the owner got in a hot water snow, I remember. No, but he was one of the asset management companies, and they were servicing Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and that was, oh gosh, we sold over 1,000 properties in the residential side. So I remember those times, and I remember we had to service in terms of, just taking the address, and then you're pretty much doing everything else in terms of property preservation, getting property in compliance, and all the, overseeing, foreclosure and stuff like that. And it was interesting times. I no longer do that, but I'm just curious about you guys know how much of REO work you do right now, and how does it look like right now, REO work for commercial real estate broker? Does it mean that you're getting the property while it is in default and you just doing cradle to grave and advising how we need to dispose it, or do you buy it sometimes yourself from the bank? How it's typically right now REO industry work in commercial real estate?
Yeah, well, for us, we're advisors and brokers. So sometimes we're selling foreclosed properties. Like we have some apartment complexes right now for sale that lenders have already foreclosed on, and then we also have some apartment complexes for sale right now where the lenders have not foreclosed, but they've asked the borrower to have us take the property to market. So we're marketing for the borrower, but it's under a lender's or a bank's requirement to take it out to market. And so we've been selling office buildings, multifamily, industrial, senior housing, all types of properties. And it's either for the borrower that the lenders said, hey, list it with Bull so we know it's getting good exposure. We know it's being done right. In some cases, the lenders even require us to copy them on updates, offers, and counter offers so they know it's being marketed well. And we're known by the lenders. We've been working for lenders through multiple cycles, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So our marketing is spectacular, and they know it's happening. It's doing well. And then also sometimes we're selling notes and helping lenders sell notes and investors buy notes on properties. But most of what we do is, and then sometimes we're just consulting lenders when they are dealing with workouts, or we're consulting borrowers and they're dealing with challenges, and come in and help them. We've done tremendous amounts of work in workouts and REO, and we're known more of as a neutral party between the lenders and the borrowers. If they lawyer up, sometimes it doesn't work well. We come in and go, hey, we know if a workout plan is feasible. We know what values are. We can look way past an appraisal and let someone know what it'll actually sell for, because the appraisals sometimes are not that accurate in that regard. So it really depends.
Makes sense. So what I'm hearing, most of those default situations probably are still before lender took over the deed and control, right? It's still in that stage where it's maybe not servicing the loan, but lender did not take, or maybe lenders do not want to take over like they used to. Is that a case?
Yeah, it's both. Yeah, it's for the borrower or the lender after they foreclose. So we do both.
Makes sense. All right. Now, I know we're top of an hour. Just one last question. I know you've been, literally since it's 35 years. So you've seen 91, 92, 2000s, post.com 9/11, and then 2008. And right now we may not, we're hitting end of the cycle for the last 5 years, right? If you see back then what's happening, is there any correlation to our cycle right now? Or do you think doesn't really repeat like everyone says?
Well, one of the things that does correlate from the downturn to downturn is contrarian investing. And contrarian investors who have bought in a down market have traditionally, throughout my career, done spectacularly well. So I think we're there as well right now. I think another thing that we add to the current market is because of the rapid rate increases in interest rates we had from the Fed, and then the inflation and COVID, and then tariffs, add all that up, new construction has really trailed off. A lot of those new construction properties, new supply, have been delivered over the last several years and are delivering. And in a lot of markets, that delivery is stopping, and it takes years to get a property developed, right? So like in the apartment complex we're marketing that I mentioned in the Carolinas, you look at new supply, there's been an unprecedented wave, unbelievable amounts of new supply, but still the occupancy is pretty strong there. Well, now that new supply is ending, it's stopping, right? And it's not expected to jump anytime soon because of all the reasons I just mentioned, even labor. And immigration, there's all kinds of issues with construction and cost there. So I think it's an unprecedented time for buyers to buy existing product in markets where this new supply is about to stop or really slow down. And especially in the southeast markets where we work, where there's still good demand and still growth. So I think it's a great acquisition opportunity for contrarian investors. Right?
So, and that's across the board, all the asset classes that were being built, like industrial, multifamily.
Well, yeah, obviously it depends on the area in the market and the property type. But where I see a lot of it in office, I see a lot of it in office. I see a lot of it in multifamily. And I see it some in retail and industrial. So I think every asset's different, but I think the contrarian investing where there's lack of new supply coming into the market, so you'll have the opportunity for better performance on these properties and buy under replacement costs. Like we're selling a building as an 8 cap, $24 million that you can get for under $200 a foot with a 14-year lease and 8% cap rate. Well, the replacement cost is 4 times that.
Yeah.
Right. So
Exactly.
it's a really incredible time to buy. And I'll leave you with this: date the rate, marry the deal. If you're an investor, don't worry about current rates right now. Get into some of these properties where you have that situation and refinance later.
Date the date and refinance later.
The rate.
All right, writing it down. Writing down is a gem. All right, so I'll leave you with the one last question. Normally, I leave with a personal question, if I may. I usually pull the card, and let me just pull it. So the question is: if money was not an issue, how would you spend your time? If money would not be an issue, how would you spend your time?
Probably on a racetrack or a fast boat. Fast car, fast motorcycle. That's probably what I do.
It's amazing. Awesome. So where do the listeners can reach out to you, find your firm? What's the best way to reach you?
Yeah. So my websites have my phone numbers and my emails, unlike some people's websites where you can't really reach them. My commercial real estate firm is bullrealty.com. My show is creshow.com. My commercial agent training system is commercialagentsuccess.com. And if someone wants to email me, my email is an easy one. It's Michael at Bull Realty.
All right. Fantastic. All right. So anyone has a need to sell a property in Southeast, Mike's the guy. So thank you very much, everyone. It was a treat. Thank you, Mike. Hopefully we'll do it again.
Thank you, Saul. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Value Builder podcast. For more strategies, stories, and episodes, head to valuebuilder.co or subscribe on your favorite app. Always make it better than you found it and keep adding value. See you in the next one.